Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully you'll be able to find me. Let's see how that's going to really work out. Now it tells me excellent connection. Let's wait for you to find me. And let me go on my channel and remove all of the other lives. This one and this one. Okay, anybody here? I'm just deleting this to remove any confusion. Hello, hello, find you. Great, thank you very much. And let me just give me a second to send the link to everybody where we are located. Like, hopefully now you can hear me. Let me play some music here so it's not boring while I'm doing all of that. Where is my desktop music? Let's find something else from these demo tracks that I have here. Let's go with a guitar. How is that? All right. Just give me a second. I restarted my computer and I hope that would help, and it looks like it did. So I'll be doing that regularly. Okay, almost. All right, I am back. I have everything, so let's hope people will find us here. So my kittens, you almost lost your mommy over here. Let's see how this really works, guys. So let me see. Hello, 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 hello. Hi Lorna, hi Kelsey, hi Chris, hi Barbie, Needing Yogi. So everyone familiar with the scene from Caddyshack where Ted Knight says, well, we are waiting. That's pretty much it. So thank you guys for your patience, and trust me, technology and cars always test my patience. It's kind of like one of those things that I really cannot do. So let's start. We are going to start with Pisces. So let me see how this is going to work. I have done Aquarius and Capricorn because I started from the back. I didn't know how far I would go. I thought it's going to be 10 minutes per sign, and it turned out it took me basically 40 minutes. And that's being very fast, processing and everything else. So this should actually be faster because I want to do 10 minutes per sign. I'm going to do the timestamps, and so Barbie, please pay attention. And what's going to happen, I'm also going to download it and slice it and have this is just as a regular sign for ease of use later. I don't know if I want to put these signs on right now because it's monthly, but if this format somehow works, guys, then probably that's going to be the format I'll do in the future. So let's do Pisces. Happy birthday. Finally, we are starting with Pisces. Let me put the stamp over here, and let me start recording here on my end. So let's start. Pisces. I better go over here to see you guys, or at least to see the comments. Oh my gosh, we are still in the shadow period. That's basically what happens. So you have two jumpers. Capricorns had this as a jumper, interestingly enough. This is really interesting. Pisces, you're the 12th sign, right? You're the very last one. You're wrapping everything up. And for you, you are kind of like realizing this is all just an exercise, this was all just a thing, like now I have to kind of like wrap up your experience and go quote unquote home, right? So that's interesting. Oh, you got this rocket book, right? So yeah, I love it as well. So guys, you are somehow happy with some kind of development. There is like a maybe a little bit of holding kind of like period. There's like something that kind of like really works. You're really happy with certain kind of like emotional development, almost like so happy that you really want to be left alone and kind of like dealt with your own kind of like things, which would be kind of like really interesting, right? So let's see, Pisces for March. It's so nice that you guys found your way. Was it difficult to find your way back? I don't really know, because it kept breaking, and I said, let me restart computer and kind of start with this. So Lou, you're starting with Ace of Cups reversed, and you just had Nine of Cups as a jumper. So there is a cycle. Maybe you're finishing off a relationship, or you're really hesitant to start something. It's really difficult for you to kind of like go in a new direction over here, right? So Ace of Cups can also talk about that you really want something badly. Maybe you really want a relationship. Maybe you feel frustrated about that. Maybe you feel, hey, I really need to go and I want to go in this direction, and somehow this is really not happening. And there is a Queen of Wands. Maybe you have somebody who, let's call it is in a way, maybe somebody who is controlling the narrative. I wonder if this still means that you're dealing with somebody who still didn't sign off entirely on a relationship before starting something new. That can sometimes kind of like create with Queen of Wands, and Queen of Wands is very different from you. What you offer and what they offer are two very different things, right? So maybe you're trying to be more like this person, then don't. This is basically where the sun goes through your own sign, like, so you are the one who is shining. You are maybe not this doer doing stuff, and now everybody's suppressed with this freaking pandemic and everybody wants to do things, right? I mean, we have here double whammy. We have pandemic, we have like freezing temperatures. We didn't have winter practically until February 1st, and now okay, today's raining, so hopefully all the snow is going to melt. But you know what I mean. It's coming from all the sides. You have a Death here reversed. Maybe you're still longing for your ex of some sort, because who said it, like Kylie, we are still in the shadow period, right? So this still kind of like comes in waves. You know, it's almost like when you pass by the bakery and you smell it, it smells good, but then you make 3 more steps and it doesn't, and then again, it's just simply how it flows. And it's really kind of like something that over here, there is like an issue, emotional issue. Some of you are feeling very emotional. Some of you are possibly even feeling jealous over somebody who basically stepped down. Everything is freaking reversed. That was like the case with Aquarians too. It was reverse, right? And that means everything is upside down. Sometimes like this reversal has to happen. Did you ever try to use the hourglass? You reverse it and it's a new cycle starting. But for you, this is really telling you, almost like universe is blocking you for going in a certain direction. So there are, you know, like when you kind of like go toward fire, then first it's very hot and you wonder if you should go, and then you burn yourself. It's kind of like all of these signs are there, but you still really want to grab it over here from what I see. Oh, by the way, yesterday Tiger wanted to grab an eagle or a hawk, I guess. It was like hawk was there munching on a freaking squirrel, and I was grabbing the phone to kind of like videotape this, and Tiger was already running. I was like, oh my god, now I have to worry about hawk attacking the dog. Then you have 8 of Pentacles. So you're like throwing all caution in the wind. There's like something that you want, and I can almost like taste it. You want something really badly, but there is a circumstance here that you're completely unaware, and you need to kind of like figure out how to go in this direction, because it's almost like that you are, like, for example, somebody gives you a story dating story. Yeah, you know, I just cannot meet you today because, oh, I don't know, somebody's sick or whatever. Uh, you are not questioning that story, and the story is like too obvious, and there is like something here that is warning you about it, right? Then you have like the Six of Pentacles here reversed, which, yes, this is now confirming there is like some kind of like Mercury retrograde thing. So I mean, something from the past is revived. So it could be a person, it could be a situation. Maybe you had tension with your boss, especially if it was a female boss. Maybe you had a tension with your partner before, you sorted out, and now it's resurfacing. It really, really sucks having this in your birthday period. I really, really get it. This here, something around, let me just try to move this camera properly. Something around new moon in Pisces, which is on the 13th. And on the 13th, we have like two things that are really connecting to you. One is going to be new moon in Pisces, and that's kind of like going to guide us toward greater understanding of everybody. It's not going to be just the selfish me kind of a thing, but rather how do we make these like big dramatic changes. But also at the same time, you are going to feel very enthusiastic. So up to the 13th, I have to tell you, you're going to live drama, because you always live a movie. So that movie is going to be drama. But then on the 13th, there is like a Venus and Neptune conjunction that is really taking place. And I did print this thing here, which I usually send when I send my mail list, and I'm going to send it to you so you basically can see how this is really happening. You see Sun and Neptune is over here showing up already, and then you're going to have new moon Pisces, and then Venus and Neptune technically on the 14th here. That is really happening, which is really, really important for you. That's basically where you can receive a boost of romance and sort of like a magic, which is really, really important over here for you as well, right? I didn't even tell you what you have on the bottom. You have maybe you have Aries in your life. You have the Emperor Reversed, so which means, you know, you need to kind of like brush up on some skills. I really feel from all this reading that you're a little bit too trusting, and that's the problem. So here is another 4 that is mirroring this one, and this really talks about lack of enthusiasm. Kind of like you want something, but you want something while you're lying down, and this sometimes means that you don't really have much influence in the situation, and that somebody is you're depending on somebody. That's always a bad situation, because look at these pentacles. There's something rotating over somebody's family, which is really, really important, and it's almost like feeling isolated, not being a part of it. You're really hoping that somebody is going to take this leap of faith and trust that like it means something else. Could be a new cycle, it could be better. This is very promising. But this card is also single card, which means maybe somebody's not single. Maybe somebody needs to be released from some obligations, from husband, from wife, from a job, in order to kind of like create a space, which currently looks like there's some turmoil about it. There it is, some good luck, some good kind of like turn of the events. You're like hoping for the best, but you're fearing the worst. It's kind of like you're in between those situations. These are really good combinations over here. I mean, you have a 1 here, and now you have a 10 and 0, which kind of like shows this is some kind of karmic process, and that's always what happens during Pisces transition. So there he is, he's showing up, King of Cups. That's your dream mate, right? Whether you're male or female, it's somebody who you kind of like put a crown on. Be very careful, it came reversed. This person is going to tell you lots of things that you want to hear, but are they true? Are they doable? Are they going on? This is like where somebody just spends this daydreaming with you, especially if you're dating another Pisces. That can be kind of devastating. So let me see what else I have over here. I have let your friends help you. You know what is really good about friends, if you have true friends, if you don't have friends who are just flattering you or having some other kind of like reasons, then they're going to tell you their feeling. And if they tell you, look, I don't see this happening and I don't think this is good for you, trust them, listen to them, because it tells me that you're going to be happy. But that happiness, we'll have to see April. This happiness might not be long lasting. This person is not willing to commit. This person is not willing to kind of like go forward. So but you know what, if you're kind of like really dying for that little bit of happiness, why not to have it? Because it's going to be easier for you to kind of like sign it off later. Maybe you're going to see something about it, but in the meantime, I'm telling you, better kind of like watch it. That is really, really important. So hello Kathy, my gosh, I haven't seen you in a long time. So let me just stop recording here, and then I'm going to start again. Hopefully it's going to help me with my slicing on the other end as well. So who is next now? So I think I'm going to go in order to simply maybe not, because you guys are not in order. So which signs do we have here, guys? Let's go with this, because you came over here, and maybe you can give a title, my little kittens, title to this Pisces thing. I'm just trying to see how I would name it. You see, this is like where you have to spend your time thinking about it. Dreamer, I guess. Pisces, are you sure? But maybe you have a better title. It's been a while. Yeah, nice to see you. So glad to see kind of like old crowd coming. So where are these things? Venus is in Pisces. Kylie is Sun Eating Yoga is Virgo. Kylie is Sagittarius. Chris is Capricorn. Barbie is Libra. Lorna, what are you? Kelsey, what are you? So see the disadvantages of kind of like coming over here. So let's go with Barbie, because Barbie is the master moderator. So let's start with Libra over here. So Libra is going to go next. Pisces wants Pisces. All right, so Libra. Aqua has been done already. It's going to be uploaded the moment when I get off the thing. Whoa! This is kind of like Moon in Aquarius, and there's like somebody who is cooking something behind your back. Maybe you're not paying attention. Be careful. Somebody's like doing some kind of a damage, or you might have to face some kind of damage. Ooh, one more thing. Be careful, especially when it comes to, let's say, relationship things or contracts, or where there's like somebody claiming to be moral authority and you have to do that because kind of a thing. You guys know that my relationship with Hierophant is very, very strained, because I don't like, you know, this kind of like religious authority kind of like a thing, but at the same time, on a positive note, it can be seen as kind of like trying to get mastery of earthy elements in order to kind of like balance out feminine and male energy over here. So Libra is my ascendant. So let's do that. Libra for March. On the bottom, we have Venus, and you are that Empress, right? Venus rules your sign, but it is really reversed. So that really tells me you're really not feeling in your element of some sort. Like, I mean, there are like either people who are creating circumstances. Interestingly, that we have another 3 here as well. You kind of like want to have your way, but kind of like nobody is cooperating. So almost like you're getting to the point of kind of like demanding, being very demanding. So this entire principle of Venus, this entire principle of like easy breezy kind of a thing, is kind of like becoming like almost like matter, like what's the word, you know, like the those ladies who worked in those like what is with my English today, orphanages, right? So like you saw this woman, what was this one, the chess series, oh my gosh, I can't think about the titles today, and I did have enough sleep. Kind of like those women who kind of like have been kind of like going through, is almost like kind of like very matronly, very kind of like stern of sort. Keep in mind that we are going to have full moon in Libra. Ooh, look at the sunshine. Full moon in Libra this month, end of the month, March 28th. And it's going to kind of like be a little bit tricky for both Aries, right? That is kind of like going to be a sun transition at that stage, and Libra, because Venus is going to be in Aries at that stage, and it's going to create that friction between desire to really talk about your true feelings and your need to maintain that balance and that harmony. So balance is going to be the key over there. So, ooh, I shuffle this again, so I guess it's meant to be. So let's do it one more time. And look at that. Again, freaking cannot cheat tarot. Be really careful about people doing things behind your back. There's like Four of Swords. Librans, you're a little bit tired. You're tired of freaking everything, right? Like this is like Four of Swords, but this is also gratitude. So when you're tired, when you lose motivation, the fastest way to get out of these dumps is to really go into that meditative state and go and tell your gratitudes. You know how they used to be, we used to pray before meal and everything, and I really think this is kind of like the giving, kind of like feeling that universe, feeling that chi, feeling God, whatever you connect with. And there's Nine of Pentacles. It almost looks to me Libras want to feel comfort and be almost like left alone and enjoy goodies. Like, I mean, this person to me always strikes me as somebody who hey, give me my pedicure, give me my manicure, just please do my hair. And now you're kind of like feeling really, really right about that. So that's really important over here. And then we also have a Seven of Pentacles, right? We had here Seven of Swords. So this is really talking about building or rebuilding or repositioning. This can also sometimes signify sprinkling and how things kind of like can work out and which kind of direction can go. We have a Page of Pentacles over here, maybe, and you are air sign, even though on the outside it looks that you are very harmonious and cooperative. You are tornado. You are really pushing your things out. You really want what you want. Remember John Lennon, who kind of like looks like a sweetheart, look like what he did. Like it's kind of like, hey, let's move these mountains and let's move them now, kind of a thing. So something has the kind of like the whole suspension thing, the whole kind of like pattern where we all are. It's really, really getting on your nerves, right? Because look at how many pentacles you have. It's all kind of like boiling down to what to do next, what kind of like a day will I have, and it's too mundane for you. It looks like even though you kind of like found your footing and you're showing gratitude, yep, I was just about to say you're ready to start something new, and then the Fool shows up. So it's a new cycle that is like really opening for you guys this month. So we are talking basically, I think between the 14th and 18th this month, that something will really, really open, right? And it's also kind of like coinciding where Mercury will enter actually Pisces, and that's going to be after the shadow that is really finished. And it's going to be a lots of kind of like emotional exchanges. This is really good when Fool shows up over here. It kind of like really talks about feeling fresh, like, I mean, going in a new direction. Now, like maybe readjust everything and things are really moving how they should move. And now, like, you have the Nine of Pentacles, you have a Nine of Cups again, that is really talking about comfort. But I'm not seeing partnership anywhere. So if this is a partnership that you want, it almost looks like it's not in the forefront of what you kind of like desire. There is like something brewing where you're really, really happy just being on your own, being left alone, and kind of like just maybe gathering energy for the future. See, kind of like ship have sailed out. This is my ship's card: friendships, relationships, partnerships. It's reversed. I don't know, it's almost like that you shy away from it, or quite frankly, it feels like you actively don't want to go in that direction. That's how it feels. It's kind of like leave me alone, kind of like a month, right? And that's really kind of like where everything stands. It's lots of spirituality over here involved because we are going through Pisces transit. You are kind of like resetting your finances or shuffling your budget of some sort, but you're not that enthusiastic about starting new things over here. Let's see your environment. There are people in your environment who kind of like possibly want to kind of like get a hold of you, not on the phone, but sort of like maybe they had a grip on you and now they don't, and now there's the sunshine again, and now this is really kind of like telling me that they'll make this kind of like attempts as well, and that kind of like makes sense right now. Maybe you simply don't want somebody back in your life. Maybe somebody was, well, let's not call it terrorizing, but somebody was domineering over here. Because look, if you really look at it, right, like now it's kind of like this way. When they're really reversed, it's kind of like, oh, such a nice personality you have, I really don't want to deal with this, off you go. It's almost like a good riddance, kind of like that situation that I see over here, right? So Barbie saying, love my comfort the very most, so peaceful. Well, yeah, that's kind of how it's going to look like. So there it goes. There is like more comfort, but at some point it's going to feel a little bit lonely. Now we have lots of nines. These are hopes and fears, so you know that I'm always reading this up and down. So this Hermit is supposed to kind of like, it's all about inside. Hermit is the opposite to, I guess I would say, the World. Kind of like there are like these two opposing things. One is expanding, one is like kind of like internal over here. And it's kind of like seeking for his own purpose, for his own process of some sort. So the hope is like you really kind of like want to find some kind of like meaning in what you're doing, but on the other hand, at one point you're going to find, I'm not sure. And that's kind of like Libra in you. I would not take that very seriously, because you're always out of balance, and you always want to get this in balance. This also can talk about something with health or taking care of health of some sort. Look at how many nines you have. You literally, comfort is the key. You need to feel comfortable. And this is really interesting. When we feel this way, that we don't want anybody, that we don't have space for anybody, that, oh my gosh, this is going to just create turbulence, somebody really good shows up. You got here King of Cups, and King of Cups is that dude that listens to us, that loves us, that kind of like wants to kind of like do things with us. And you see, this is like the Pisces kind of like transitioning over here. So make sure that like first 20 days in month, that you don't completely shut this door. Like somebody says, hey, you're so pretty, or hey, like what do you say, like I'm gonna go for a walk, and you go whew, just shut the door really quickly. Just make sure that like you may at least you exchange the phone numbers, because that might be it. This is a really, King of Cups and King of Pentacles are the best mates to choose for long term, you see. And I don't think it's going to start as a big passion, but it's going to develop into passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy, because King of Cups is not kind of like in your face. He's not King of Wands, right? He is more or less like silent, and he listens, and he just is there for you, kind of like shoulder for you, and then you finally realize one day, oh my gosh, I love this person. So that's kind of like what needs to be done. So that's about Libra. And Libras, ones of you who are listening to this later, if you want a reading with me, contact me via catarot.ca. So that was Libra. Then who else do we have over here? Let's see. What can we name this reading for Libra? Libra, happy on your own, happy. I'm going to change this because I don't want to have kind of like news titles, because that could be too weird. Kylie, uncomfortable in Nine of Pentacles energy and at peace with this. I find that Nine of Pentacles is absolutely lovely. You do your own cooking, you eat what you want, you kind of like create your own space, and it's really kind of like beautiful. So what else do we have here? So we had Libra, so we have Chris's Knitting Yogi is Virgo. Let's go with Virgo. Hey, Knitting Yogi, I sent you an email. Did you even get it? I don't know, because I haven't heard from you, and that's not very much unlike you. So let's try to do that. Oh, I have to stop recording here and then start again. All right, so let's go with Virgo. Virgo. Well, the likes really don't matter here because it's not going to be here forever. Hello, Creative Guru. How are you doing? Trying to get on your kitty. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, you did it. Okay, I didn't check it. All right, so let's see. So Virgos. You have Queen of Wands. So I guess you'll be really active. Maybe you have a girlfriend, maybe there is a clash, girlfriend, sister, boss of some sort, but you will be like, you will be on the horse. You will be kind of like figuring things out. It almost looks like that the sunny weather is really kind of like beneficial for you, and that's kind of like a really something that you feel that you need to accomplish on your own. So you have a Nine of Pentacles. Here it is, Nine of Pentacles, that to me always screams Virgo. Kind of like well-organized situation on all fronts, and you're kind of like feeling that things kind of like can really work together. It's almost like treating yourself and feeling complete comfort. This doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have a partner, but it means that you are currently a little bit currently you're self-oriented. There's like really need to kind of like fill your cups and kind of like deal with your own energy over here. This is crossed with the stars reversed. Maybe you have Aquarius in your life. Maybe you have a Leo in your life. There's like something over here that you think is hopeless. Somebody's hopeless over here, but this is really good combination, because Nine of Pentacles always tells you, you know, I kind of like shouldn't be going in this direction. It's being pragmatic, it's being realistic, which basically is who you really are. And I really don't know if this simply means that your commitment, you find it's hopeless, or there's like not something, but not hopeless in a sense that you're longing for it. It's kind of like, I'm done with this, kind of like put a fork in me kind of a thing, right? That's kind of like what happens. And then here we have the Fool, which is kind of like that proverbial singleton, somebody who is really exploring everything, and everything is interesting, and kind of like meeting different people, trying different things, learning different skills, and that's sort of like entire basis of this month, right? So you have lots of air, so Knitting Yogi, clearly your energy is coming through over here. It's kind of like showing. So from the past, there's like this Knight of Swords. Maybe you kind of like had a goal. Maybe this goal is still valid. Maybe simply this means that maybe you're abandoning something that you have started, but this also means that not enough research has been done. You have lots of air over here, and air is always talking about higher spiritual ideals, or ideas, and maybe conversations about a path. Usually talks about business planning over here, and so on and so forth. And then we have here Two of Swords, and Two of Swords is just crowning it over here. So it's the lady with a blindfold. So there is like some debate over here, even though you kind of like know what you want to do and what you don't want to do. there is like still a hesitation, because technically, again, this is with the new moon connecting with the 13th something of the month. Looks like this is a theme that something is going to really break around that time over there, because we have like these few things, new moon in Pisces. So first of all, March 11th, Sun and Neptune join. Then we have a March 13th, new moon in Pisces, and then Venus Neptune connection. Pardon me, conjunction means that they're very, very close. And also we have that Mercury will enter Pisces. So a whole bunch of cluster things. You know what they say, cluster fuck, pardon my language, you know that I don't like to swear. So what really needs to happen is that you really need to feel it. You're saying maybe things look good on the paper, but I really need a little bit more to add to all of it. Look, there's another 9. You Virgo are literally being Virgo. You're going to feel in your element. You're going to be well organized. You're going to be razor sharp, kind of like focused right on the spot. This makes no sense, I will not be doing this anymore. This makes sense, I will. So there is like this emotional comfort as well, kind of like having the glass of wine with yourself if you wish, and really feel this is also kind of like, could be that you're single, but it could be that somebody's trying to romance you, and maybe this is kind of like fizzling out of some sort. Could be the air sign of some sort. There it is. You are showing up over here. You literally, this month, you're going to be living your sign. Each of us, when we are born, we have the sun sign, which is the transit, but we have a whole bunch of different kind of like elements that contribute. So think about it, all these trinkets and how we present ourselves to the world and what's happening that is showing up. So you are going to feel those elements very, very strongly. You're going to be finding if you're connecting to who you are properly, if you're connecting to your truth, and you're not going to want to debate anything at all. It's going to be kind of like, you know what you want, how you want it, and where you are going. And then maybe somebody enters your life. Magician also tends to be single, but look at how interesting this really is. You have a 9, and then it's a 0 and a 1. It's kind of like there is like this circle, and maybe this is why it's mirroring this like 2, even though these are way more important. It's like you have these major arcanas on your kind of like baseline, so you're really strong, you're really dedicated, you simply don't want to build, just like when you build a cake, if the bottom layer is not firm enough, it's not going to hold all the stuff and everything's going to get mushy. Your base layer is really, really strong. You're moving in a particular direction and you know what you want. Somebody on the outside will teach you some skills, and it's going to be something, you know, like, I mean, that you are missing, because generally we call for tell magician, it means you have everything you need. You don't. There is like a new cycle, new kind of like a role that you will play, new direction you will take, and you need to open yourself up to actually absorb, because you have reached the pinnacle most of the month. And I think for you between 9th and the 13th it's going to happen, that switch. So the beginning of the month is going to be absolutely amazing. You're going to feel really, really kind of like put together, which is really interesting, because Pisces and Virgo, like, you're the opposite, and usually when you go through the transit of the opposite sign, it's always turbulence, it's always kind of like seeing the shadow sign. For you, you are like saying just bring it on kind of a thing, right? And then you have like the 10 of Pentacles reversed. It's, you know, in your hopes and fears, maybe certain things in family, they're not that great. Like, even if you're married, maybe you're like assessing the quality of this marriage, and sort of like what comes in, what comes out, if this is kind of like balanced out. This can also talk about therapy of some sort as well. I don't like the fact that the 10 of Pentacles is reversed, because there is a 9 of Pentacles, but this also can mean that each and every time you're thinking about, oh, in our relationships, oh, that means, well, now I have to put an effort and do all of these things, and like it's almost like some kind of barrier, or that you are going to meet somebody who kind of like simply maybe is not ready for dating, because they still are too engaged with their family to actually allow that space. And the older we are, the harder it is to find that space. So that's kind of like what kind of like needs to be kind of like assessed. And then you have a Six of Cups, and Six of Cups again, it's really talking about Mercury retrograde, which is going to go until I think 15th, and that's when it enters Pisces. This is about taking care of the kiddos, taking care of the pets, maybe it's getting in touch with somebody from Facebook, old school book, that sort of things, or simply about reminiscing, simply about, oh, okay, you know what, like now you're feeling that emotional comfort. So this month is going to be actually pretty fabulous. Of course, you're going to have few kind of like roadblocks over there. Maybe your family is going to come up with something. Maybe your friends are going to come up with something. I would just tell you the best advice is like to open up to new experiences, to open up to kind of like everything that is really going on, because you will get a mentor or a teacher of some sort. So and this is also Mercury, magician like is ruled with Mercury, so it can be Aquarius, it can be Pisces, right? And that kind of like you have those influences that are really really showing through. So it also could mean that you will either involve yourself with technology, or with some kind of like video, or some movies, or some kind of like historical creativity, and that person would kind of like guide you over there. And let's see your card over here. I'm trying to keep it under 10 minutes, so that's why I'm talking fast. And there is also passion showing up here. I feel this passion is very much internal in your case, that you're going to feel that was the missing element, and now like I mean certain things are coming to the surface and are working out very very well. So there you go. There you go. I really hope, Virgo, that is going to be really interesting transition. It's almost like coming home. There is like a feeling of belonging, of comfort, of almost like certification. You're doing everything well. So just enjoy your transit. So that's going to be freaking awesome for you. So I stopped recording there. Let me just put my note here, Virgo. All about you. So, all right. So let me start recording again. Who is going to be next? Which sign is going to be next? Let me just check. I'll just stop recording while I actually check what you guys said. I just don't want to go blast it forward without forgetting to kind of chit chat. I finished my coffee while I was restarting the computer. So let me see. How is the kitty doing? Like I usually, when I introduce new kitty, I put it in their kind of like carrier, so the other kitties can come around, sniff around, and so on and so forth. The last kitty that I introduced was Safi. It was a while back, right? What is she? She is now 8 years old, and man, it was the only kitten. Usually the kitten last one comes is the bottom on the hierarchy. No, Safi was just this big, fitting in my palm, and she just decided that, yeah, you know, she's the boss. She kind of like does stuff and will do stuff. Let me see, guys. Let's go next over here. So the next will be we're just trying to do here yogi. So we did Virgo, we did Barbie. Oh, we'll do Sagittarius next. So I might not do all of them because this can be exhausting for me, but I'll try to. And Barbie, you can call at any point. I can do doors, so that's clearly after any sign that can be done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, at least 4 more. So let's go until 1 o'clock. Let's go another hour and see how many we can squeeze in for sure. Because I don't think you want to spend the entire day here either. And then I finish the rest over the weekend. So Sagittarius. Aquarius is done already. So it's going to be, it's actually I think uploaded already. So, or this, I'm going to put the links when we are done. So there is a jumper. 8 of Pentacles over here for Sagittarius, like pay attention to the details. It's going to be really important to sort things out, and that's kind of like how things would work. This also talks about putting the final touches of some sort. You're getting close to kind of like making something workable, making something doable. It's very pragmatic energy, nothing exciting, but things will happen. I don't know if you guys are dealing with either somebody who was controlling, or there is a fallout of a relationship. What we see here on the bottom, the Emperor and the Two of Cups. It can talk about maybe feeling a little bit let down, or feeling that something slipped through your fingers, but also on the other hand, like feeling that this, to me, it's always very traditional, kind of like male or traditional female role, and maybe there is like this complete understanding that that's not kind of like what you kind of like want, and so on and so on. Oh, Kylie is starting to fall asleep. That sucks. Am I like that monotone? Like that's a feedback I need to take in account, you know? So now you have the Ace of Pentacles, and I guess that's kind of like maybe connecting to something is really not working out. And that could be you deciding that, or that could be simply the situation is not really doable. And it is about some kind of commitment. It's the Strength that is kind of like crossing it. So Strength always shows where we really need to kind of like learn a little bit of a finesse in our life and kind of like deal with this. So let's see where this really leads us. These two cards are also connecting. And then you have a King of Swords, and King of Swords is foundation. You probably have a friend or a confidant, somebody who could be an air sign, or somebody who kind of like acts like an air sign. So there is a lot of exchange of ideas, a lot of so this person is a real friend. This person is not going to butter you up. That person is going to simply tell you as things are, sometimes even in a too blunt of a way, and that really is not really helpful at times. So, but at the same time, you're still seeing how the other people perceive it. Just like, for example, what Kylie said to me, like to me, that directness, I like it because it tells me, hey, you know what, like, I mean, maybe this 10 minutes is long, etc., because I'm simply gauging how this really works when it's done online. And then it's beneficial for you if you can take this information and kind of like run with this. You have the Empress Reversed as well. So now this is really interesting to have Empress, and then you have the Emperor Reversed. So there is like a connection, I believe, that you had that was extremely serious. So basically this is like where you have those roles of some sort, and I can see reneging on these roles, but also to be honest to yourself, you actually didn't like, maybe you fell in this role and it was just horrible fit for you because neither of these partners were really good in those roles, and it was like almost like something drew the worst out of each other. Some of you, I think, some Sagittarians that are listening to this are actually still in a relationship because of this, and maybe it's a maintenance of relationship for, it's not going anywhere, but it's possible maintenance because of the norm, because of the parents or something like that. But I don't really think that that heart is in it, right? For one reason or another. Yeah. And I really think that's going to be a big thing this month, that you're going to just realize, look, I'm just shooting myself in the foot. I'm not so sure, why I'm keep doing things that I'm doing. It's almost like that you are reassessing who you became as a result of this relationship. This relationship could have just happened. It's maybe still going on in a very kind of like screeching way, or maybe this was something that happened 20 years ago, something that have left such a big impact on you, right? People ask me, well, how often and how long the reading lasts, right? Or especially karma reading. It can be one day if something really big happens, and it can be years if nothing really big happens. So that's kind of like a difference. A 10 of swords is like definitely talking about a backstabber and not really pushing it forward, even though it's not entirely negative card. We see the day is being born, we see the new hope is flying, and the worst is over. That's kind of like what is really important here to know. If you're anticipating more trouble, more difficulties, this really talks about somebody who is really freaking prickly, who is very easily agitated, or a woman who kind of like, well, both ways, like they become very, very controlling when they are reversed, right? So their best qualities are just like not visible, maybe not even accessible at that stage. So in front of it, it's King of Cups. Woo, yay! I really think this is more of a confident, even though I think that some of you maybe have been thinking about making a move toward this person who I think it was more or less a friend of some sort. But I really think you're going to abandon this idea because this King of Cups might show up. Which means if you're open to a relationship, then really it's going to be somebody who you will connect on a different level. So these are very, very different connections. With King of Swords, he gets you. He gives you really valid advice. He shoots back at you even the things that you don't want to hear, right? And ultimately, you can really excel because you're Sagittarius, right? Like, I mean, it's fire, right? It's engagement. Versus King of Cups, fire and water, it creates steam and sizzle. King of Cups, what really happens over here is like somebody listens to you and you feel like, okay, so this is out of my system. It's not poison in my system anymore. So things actually really work out that way. And that somebody can show up right away. We are getting a Mars in Gemini on the 3rd. And so basically Mars is like really powerful, right? When it kind of comes through. So that's kind of like what we see here, something that really didn't really work out. All of a sudden, like now this is going to almost like inducing kind of like a deep hunger for knowledge and for kind of like variety. So keep in mind, like Geminis get really easily bored. So kind of like this is going to be some kind of like excitement. All of a sudden, you're going to feel everything is dead, nothing is really working out, and then the door opens wide, and like you have all of these options, and that also is very typical Gemini thing. So you have Six of Pentacles over here, which kind of like tells me that you're going to be learning a lesson of give and take. And it sounds to me that you try to be a giver, then this hasn't been reciprocated, and then you kind of like start being kind of like closed down in that thing, and now you're realizing, well, it has to flow in both directions. So you are checking things in you that the energy flows properly, but you're also checking this energy in the others as well, and that's going to be sort of a filter for coming in your life. And then you have the Hierophant over here reversed. Somebody is really coming in your life. Either, and it's so weird. You're like, this is like so Sagittarius, and I can see that cards like that can be coming in your life like a challenge, right? So it's almost like trying something traditional, not finding yourself because Sagittarius is not traditional. And then somebody even more traditional or more moralistic comes through, but this person is very smart, and that actually can be connecting to King of Cups. It could be that, or it could be Taurus, or it could be Earth sign that is coming through, or simply you could meet somebody in your yoga class. If anybody still has yoga classes happening anywhere in the world, in Toronto everything is shut down, and they're expecting this third wave. So this means that somebody is also very, very dedicated. They're taking you very seriously, that seriously that they think that you are the one. So keep that in mind. Hopes and fears, lovers. Yep, that kind of like would be natural development, kind of like really learning how to connect, really learning how to kind of like enjoy this new energy. And it's kind of weird because you almost like feel that you have been saddled with some kind of energies like that in the past, and you reneged them and you resented it, and now you kind of like are a master of that energy. So anybody new coming in your life, they can do whatever the hell they want. You are still saying, you know what, when I get up, it's good for you, you want to pray, but I have my coffee. And kind of like you're really secure in your own space, and you're saying, yeah, we can still collaborate, right? Because you're Sagittarius, you're that Centaur, right? Two things can actually work together even though they don't make sense. That's kind of like what I see here. And also the Lover's card is the opposite basically of your card because it represents Gemini. So this is confirming this Mars in Gemini as well. So the entire month is going to open up with you with really big bang. Page of Swords. Be careful not to put a foot in your mouth, because Sagittarius, Aquarians are usually known to do that, because that may really cost you, right? So that's what I see here. Try to apply filter, because if you don't, you're going to blur certain things out that might come and bite you back. So that might not be that good thing. Wedding. I don't know, this person could be also married, but that's so weird. Or you might be talking about marriage. You have like 2 sixes, which also has a very soulmatey kind of like a feeling. The situation involves marriage. Either it's going to be talk about the marriage or discussion, what you like, what you didn't like. It's going to be somebody who is going to be very, very serious about that. And you're going to maybe at one point explode. And you know, like when somebody comes through and initially they're like really interesting, and then all of a sudden you say to yourself, no, I don't want it. Then you kind of like push them away, and then you realize, why the hell did I do that? Actually, it's such a nice, solid person. And then you're trying to go back into their good books. Something like that, of a little bit of a roller coaster this month is. So all I see here, to summarize, that you might get some old wounds reopen unless you are living them, and that they're reopened, just simply they need a glass cleaning, glass disinfectant in order for you to start moving forward. It's called foot and mouth disease. That's right. And it's really hilarious, kind of like how often, like especially if you get me on a bad day, then I really have a flair of it, right? So let's put it this way. So Sagittarians, oh, and I didn't record this at all, and that sucks. Saggies, I'll have to go not record it. I mean, it's recorded, it's going to be recorded on live, but I didn't separately record it. So I don't know what to call this reading. What was this all about, my dear Saggies? Lots of options. Just a note. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's keep going. You're welcome, sweetie. So who I didn't do from these people who basically did put their 2 cents about their sign here. We did Virgo, Ruth. You didn't tell me hi, Ruth. Kathy, what sign are you? Anita, what sign are you? So let me see. Lorna, what sign are you? Kelsey, guys, tell me your signs. I cannot remember all of that. Oh, Lorna is Gemini, and then Ruth is Leo. Sorry, you did all of that. So Lorna is a mod. Let's start with Gemini first. So let's do this. All right, and let's start the recording and go back here. So Gemini, let's see what's happening this month here for you. You have a jumper, and that is like a 5 of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles is, as you can see, there is like a struggle. Everybody wants to get that little mouse over here, but because this is divide and conquer, like a mouse can just simply escape. So you might have lots of kind of like buzzing around you, right? And so look at this, like we have lots of Sagittarius over here. Well, Sagittarius is also good for you to check Gemini as well. This is the counter kind of like forces at play as well. So you might have like up to 5 people that are kind of like all chiming in. They all kind of like feel they can maybe storm down your throat and just can do stuff. And it's kind of like really interesting because Mars is coming to Gemini, right, on the 3rd, just like what I had just in a previous kind of like reading for Sagittarius. And it's almost like feels like that you're really tired of all of these influences, and you will definitely want to have bigger variety, kind of like dealing with something new, something fresh, something more enthusiastic of some sort. So let me see, Gemini. We have Knave of Cups. So it's flirting. It's a flirting energy, and maybe kind of like you want to start something. This to me really is an energy that needs to be nurtured. It's not necessarily lasting energy. So keep this in mind. If you find somebody that you like, you need to kind of like water that relationship. Otherwise, it's just not going to be sustainable, right? So you have Ace of Swords. That's victory. This is like very first thing right on the table. It is one of my karma cards, the only karma card from the lower arcana, right? And Ace of Swords is really something that is really, really fast. So there's like a fast change, and maybe it's a simple change in kind of like attitude of some sort. Like maybe maybe somebody feels that the things cannot be changed, that things have to continue being the way they want to continue them, and you're saying, no, I don't know, I don't care, like you can think whatever you want, this is what I want. So maybe you're renegotiating things, maybe you're kind of like simply going in a completely new direction, maybe simply you're kind of like stepping around one person. This can also be a boss. Maybe you're introducing some new ideas to your boss, and oh, this is like what we did always, tried and true, why to fix it when it's not broken, and you're hearing all these old platitudes, and you're like just willing to explode on this, right? So there is like, I mean, it's Two of Wands. It kind of like feels to you that you're maybe kind of like running in a spot. This is interesting card because it talks about the planning. It talks about going in the future, but it's reversal over here. So now it's actually really looking to the past, possibly. It's kind of like questioning things. It's interesting we have air and fire, which is a really combustible energy, but it's also very good. It's kind of like making you feel alive, making you feel you're going in a good direction. So yeah, you're ruled by Mercury, same as Virgo. So this Mercury retrograde was not that easy on you, but I also feel that some of you kind of like turned this like in a positive, and you were reconnecting with friends and people, or they were flowing in your life, and that whole energy kind of like maybe gave you this new attitude and new direction. This also talks about feeling that loving and tenderness kind of like a thing, and maybe you felt a little bit that you lull yourself, because emotions are fine for Gemini as long as they are not overwhelming. Because if you become, even if those emotions are great, you will feel that you're getting drained. You'll feel that kind of like certain things kind of like, hey, you know, like I need to function, right? Like I cannot stay here all the time. So here it is, like you have like these two twos that are mirroring each other. So it's going to be some kind of debate. It's going to be circumstance where you're going to feel that you really don't know how to move forward. And again, the crescent moon, that's the 13th. It's kind of like the new moon in Pisces. It's generally really good for boosting romance, but for you, it's kind of like finding your own footing. You're saying, maybe I took the wrong turn. I have to go back and to see how do I undo all of these things. And there is another karma card, and it's the World. And this is like also in unbelievable positioning. So right out of the gate, you're starting the month, the 3rd, when Mars is in Gemini. Things are going to change dramatically for you, just dramatically. It's almost like that somebody put you on. It's put you on fire. So there you go. This is your own house. You have the Chariot. There is like this motion forward. Now you have your goals. Now you have determination. Now you have the skills. Now you have all of these tools, and now you are like forcing yourself to go in this new direction. Not really forcing yourself. You are willing to go. There is like this an enormous enthusiasm, enormous focus. If you're starting a company, guys, maybe you're going to sell the company, and now it's a time to go in a kind of a completely new projects. If maybe you're starting a company and now like you're reaching like a milestone when you're seeing that this is like kind of doable. If this is about relationship, then you're kind of like realizing that you need something on a completely different foundation of some sort. Generally, the world talks about success, but it also talks about wrapping kind of like ends, and it's like outside kind of like manifestation of some sort. So, you know, the concept of paid forward, like there's like something that is going to be happening to you in spite of you, that you're going to get rewarded, and it's going to be some new generation energy that is generated. So you have this dreaded Seven of Swords in your environment. So be careful of the people that you encounter on your paths. So now there are 3 sevens. So highly spiritual month. Of course, we are going through the transition of Pisces, which kind of brings the spirituality, but sometimes the spirituality can be also in a la la land for your taste. You're the air sign, right? So you're not going to kind of like follow the kind of like tail end of any conspiracies and everything else. You might find it interesting, but then you might abandon it just the moment when you feel that you cannot justify with your kind of like logic anymore, right? So this really tells me that there is like somebody who clearly, these sevens, somebody felt that they're losing some kind of like advantages they had with you. So maybe you had a relationship that was not strong, or this person thought was stronger. Maybe this simply means that, you know, you are going to loosen up some kind of like reins that you felt, you know, that you already had kind of like direction in your life, and now things might be changing in that respect. Hopes and fears, you kind of like want a little bit of easy breezy attitude. That to me is an ultimate friend card here, and maybe somebody will betray you here. The Seven of Swords does have that ability, and they are going to feel they're doing that in a righteous way, right? My dad always comes in my car and opens the glove compartment and steals my screwdriver set that I have, always saying it's his. And I always take it back. He always steals it, even though I bought him exactly the same set. I said, no, that belongs to the car. But that's kind of like somebody stubbornly believing that belongs to them, even though it doesn't. And maybe you're just going to shoot some kind of like crap with your friends and have it like, I mean, good kind of a glass of wine and kind of like relax about that, or even have a giggle. But this is going to be very important, that there's somebody who might take something. This can indicate theft, it can indicate betrayal, but because you have the Chariot in a good position, you have the best possible warrior, you might catch them right in the act. And then you have a Five of Swords to sort of like crown you. And Five of Swords talks about the energies that are, yeah, they're winning energies. So there's some winning energy, but that winning come at a cost. You know what they say, you really don't win if it's not win, 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 win. But in your case, it's not going to be win, 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 win. It's kind of like you win, but there are people who really resent certain things that you did, because it almost looks to me, you said to them like, why did you really think that you're better than me, or that you deserve this? You're kind of like returning things back 2 steps. So for example, when I coach relationships and let's say marriage is like now not working well, you have to go back all the way steps down to when it worked the last time. So you're like renegotiating, you're redefining your life, you're redefining people around you, you are exposing people, or they're exposing themselves because your energy is so strong. So let me see the card for you, calling in your soulmate. That's also what Chariot does. It says your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. But I really don't see lots of partnering over here in your chart. That doesn't mean you would not have a partner. It's kind of like the Chariot means to me that you're really focused on big goals. So partner to me is really secondary that you might have. But if you have a partner, you're going to go to the next level. That next level is not going to be necessarily what they want, what they envision, and that's why you might renegotiate that and kind of like create a situation that is doable for you, where you feel complete comfort. So that's where we have Gemini, and then somebody else I think said Leo, if I remember. Let me just stop this recording now, and then let me shuffle a little bit. Okay, so let's do Leo. Leo, let's stamp here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that will be the 6th sign. Then can we do a little bit of doors? What? Nobody's talking? Is everybody asleep? Come on, wakey wakey. Guys, every single sign, for those of you who are here, can bring some messages for you as well. So keep that in mind. So we have Leo. Leo. The bottom card that you have, ouch, is 5 of Pentacles. You kind of like feel a little bit displaced. You feel, you know, you're questioning things. 5 of Pentacles is really a weird card. Like, first of all, it's Pentacles. It's not Cups. It's not really emotionally feeling devastated. Maybe it's going to be some kind of investment that will go down. Maybe people who you thought would be your rock are all of a sudden not there for you, not even bothering. You know how sometimes you have a friend and one person is always easygoing, another person is always getting their way, and here it really shows, well, you know, somebody else is kind of like doing it. Except what we see here in this card, we see the cups, right? We see, well, this is a cup, almost looks like it, but there's a cup here, there's a pentacle, wand, and sword. So they're all elements, but all of that has to kind of like have a higher purpose. So there is like, I mean, something good in this card. It's kind of like possible that Leo's 2 of us against the world, that is really important, kind of like a thing to happen. And still, to me, there is a barrier of some sort, and barrier is in the eyes of the society. There's like something that has been going on over here that it's not necessarily, let's say, what church would approve. It's not, doesn't mean it's amoral or immoral. It just simply means that this is like something that you expected from yourself, but somehow you found yourself on the outside. So it's always kind of like sometimes is interpreted being left out in the cold. So let's see what is this all about. But you also have Ace of Swords. So whatever it is, it's working on your behalf. Sometimes, like, I mean, God steps in, you know what they say, rejection is God's protection, and you are protected from this person, even though you want it. We have been all there, right? So Ace of Swords is like that victory, like you're going to feel that something is really, really working for you. Man, like, isn't this the same combination? Like, and you did see that I kind of like put them differently. So this is exactly the same that we just had for Gemini. So there is like somebody who felt or who feels that they have this position over you, that they kind of like won, and yet you are the one who won, and you didn't go forward rubbing it in their face or something, because to you that was not about the winning. But somehow I feel somebody might come to your life and kind of like position themselves as if somehow they can just waltz into your life and create the same situation, which I think they're going to find themselves very, very surprised, right? As that might not really, really work for you here as well, right? So and this kind of like also repeats. Oh my goodness. Again, somebody from the past. There is like a little past thing over here, and I see here Sagittarius, I see here Scorpio of some sort, kind of like reappearing, and it could be even 2 different people, and one is kind of like coming across a little bit kind of like too domineering, while other ones can come across as kind of like romantic and kind of like doing some kind of like really nice protection, right? So that's really interesting over here. This is also repeat. Holy moly. Like, do you know, like, I mean, kind of like in combinatorics, how difficult would be to kind of have this happening, just in a little bit different order. Maybe you feel that you have been betrayed. Maybe you betrayed. Maybe you feel that was some kind of like nagging quality, or maybe you even felt that, like, I mean, you are falling into that kind of like hole, that kind of like you are going in that direction of this energy. Again, you have sevens. It's something very spiritual, so which means you have been really oriented toward doing things that you feel, you know, are kind of like encouraging flow of energy, removing stagnation. And because of these three, like, there are actually three different energies here, right? You have very strong swords, meaning you have been thinking a lot about things that have happened, how things maybe slip from your fingers, because after all, the kitty is sleeping and like there is a party going on over here. So when the party kind of like, when the kitty opens its eyes, the cheese might be completely gone, right? And then you have like Nine of Pentacles, and you've been through this situation where you felt a loss of some sort. You felt that something had to be given to you, right? It's kind of interesting because there are two different partners. One almost like feels like, was I asleep at the switch? Where the other one is like just in the face, and you're like wondering what the hell is going on over here, right? And there is like, again, this comfort. It looks like we are all kind of like little pea in a pod this entire month. Like, I mean, all signs have the same thing, I guess, with the exception, of course, Gemini and Sagittarius. They're going to be more active. But look at this. Like, there is like this comfort zone. They're calling this like, I mean, a wish. They're calling things are actually really moving out. You have been in a phase. And that's why this grand opening was, you're moving in a new direction. Like, things are not going to be the way they are. Like, you're renegotiating new situation, even though the past or some kind of emotional history is still affecting you. And be prepared that you have to deal with somebody else's requests or demands, rather to say, and see what happens. You have the Hermit showing up. So this means either you'll have possibly Virgo or possibly Aquarius showing up over there. This might be connecting. Like, it's again the energies of nines, the feeling content, feeling like almost like you want to meditate the whole life, like you'll say, just from now on, that's what I do. Of course, his monthly reading, those energies are changing all the time. But like right now, that's what you feel out. That's what I want. I also feel, and I don't know why, that some people might want to go to monastery or temple, literally kind of like finding something out that is like, remember like what I told you, this is almost like a moralistic card of what society prescribes, not necessarily what is right or wrong. For example, like, I mean, in our society, brothers and sisters do not have sex together, nor they can marry, right? In dog's world, that's a go kind of a thing. So I'm not saying go and jump your brother, not at all. But what I'm saying is like kind of like this is really debatable ethics and morality, right? So as you probably know from high school. So this really tells me you're doing some kind of like stuff, you're doing yoga, you're doing meditation, you're kind of like really progressing on that level. And it's kind of really interesting because it's almost like you're filling all these cups, all of these cups are full, and now the energy is possibly creating something new happening in your life, and this is going to be freaking awesome. Full moon is in Libra on the 28th, and in Libra means partnerships, it means harmony. As I said, it's kind of like opposing Venus and Aries, because it's the opposite of Libra, that can cause friction. So again, don't fall in the same trap, trying to maintain that friendship, trying to maintain this harmony, because of which that's what Libra does. And there is also that debate between being left alone and going in a new direction. So this is really a good possibility of actually going in a relationship if this is what you want. This can mean getting a new job. This can mean getting along, signing a partnership, having some kind of joint venture, very, very strong coexisting of some sort. Your environment is the Chariot. Somebody might be coming toward you, somebody who is single, so which is good. Chariot doesn't necessarily have a staying power. Their goal is to go and get to the goal. But in this situation, you are their goal. And this is, interestingly enough, it's also connecting to the moon, right? So we have the new moon on March 13th, and then we have a full moon, which is in Libra, like on March 28th. So keep this in mind, that somebody might be coming toward you and saying, you know, I want to be single and whatnot, but they're going to find you irresistible. And kind of like, that's really interesting energy. We will see. Let me actually check it now. What card comes through? Because that's usually linking these two categories. Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. The only kind of like reservation I have over here is like, because you feel so comfortable in your kind of like solo energy, and then you change your mind and this person might be just coming and going. That's kind of like where it is, but it doesn't have to be this way. Because this is somebody from the past as well that's coming through. And look at this, like another 7. Very, very spiritual, which means also that maybe you're connecting somebody on the level of religion, but both of you are questioning certain tenements over there as well. Hopes and fears is 2 of Wands. So you are wondering if this is going anywhere or this is not going anywhere. You're wondering how to deal with that. What is workable in the situation, right? And then you have like the 6 of Wands reversed as kind of like to seal kind of like this reading. And 6 of Wands is the victory as well. Just like you started, you're finishing. I think this was like for Aquarius as well. That kind of like we had this energy as well. It's really interesting because it's connecting also to some kind of like debate. I think in the end, things are just going to fall into their place the way they're supposed to be. Because 6 of Wands is still a victory. The only difference is like it's not this big build-up, anticipation, but that you like that kind of like thing, and then it's a big event. So instead, it happens, and you almost like you might not even realize that it happened because it happened. It didn't have all this fanfare, it didn't have all of that music and drama and stuff with it. It just happened differently, which basically you will understand this is this new kind of like level of how you deal with things, that you don't have to really give yourself entirely in and have all this power for things to happen. So that's really, really important. So let's do the doors, and I don't know if we should, let me just do this. I guess we can continue until 1, because I'll be worn out by then. It's 3 hours of reading, and you might get worn out by then, Leo. 1. So the doors. Let's do this. Let me hide the things from you. So guys, think of the question that you want. I'm going to bring the angel cards as well for everybody here. And let's use this deck. All right, so okay, let's open this up and put this here. So guys, if you took the left door, so what's going to happen here is temperance. Things might not happen. There is like not enough ingredients to glue things together. There's like something, the bridge needs to be built, but the bridge cannot be built in this period of time as well. The door number 2, this is a definite yes, and this can happen freaking like now. Like you can get a call while like we are talking right now. There's like something that is like really supposed to happen, and it's going to for you feel like a breakthrough, but it's already kind of like in the cards. And then the door number 3 is 4 of Cups. there is like not enough energy, you know, like I mean, you have to have this intention, you have the energy. There's like somebody who is not like, it's all there. It's almost like, I feel that somebody was thinking, I just want to be with this person, and how is this person not realizing how good I am for this person? This person is just like completely not even on that kind of like wavelength. This person is completely somewhere else, kind of like dealing with their own thoughts, with their own worries, with their own fears. It's almost like highly improbable to penetrate into that world. So it's not really impossible, but you have to really jump in front of this person, wake them up, to kind of like give them that cause, right? So now let's do the angel cards for all. So I'm going to I guess Barbie was first, so Barbie gets this, but then I'll go with whatever we have in this like third attempt of streaming. So Barbie, you have strength. Oh, hugging the tree. I kind of like sometimes do this with evergreen trees, and I really feel kind of like calming influence, and it really, really helps. So that works. Then Chris is the next one here. Chris, trust. Unicorns are there. Unicorns are doable. They might appear and show up. So believe in magic, kind of a thing, right? Then we have Lorna H. Enthusiasm. Lorna, like whatever you're doing, like this is almost looks like it's definitely winter outfit over here, but it looks to me kind of like get out, kind of like be busy, get engaged or something, right? Then Kylie. Ooh, Kylie, you're getting the blank one. You know that they put the blank one purposely. So, you know, take a pen and take a pencil and write it for yourself, because this almost like means it's a clean slate. Then every opportunity is open for you. Kind of you can go in all directions. Then we have knitting yogi. You have power, and look at that. That's kind of like the Hierophant kind of a thing. So there is like some kind of fortitude, there is like some righteousness, so sort of like you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing, so that's kind of going to be very important to kind of like do it. And let me see who else I have there. Anita. Oh, this one wanted to do that. Anita, you also have enthusiasm, so just make sure that like you do stuff like I mean that is really making you happy. Then we have Kathy. You have harmony. It could be a few people that kind of balance you out, that you feel comfort with, and it can be kind of direction that you really like. Then Ruth, we have abundance. Whoa, that usually Chris gets this kind of a card. So in any case, play lottery. This literally to me talks about financial abundance of some sort. You're going to feel comfort, which is really, really important. Over here, who else do I have? I think these are all people who kind of like said something. Did I do Kelsey? I don't know if I did Kelsey, but don't remember. Oh, getting love, Kelsey. And I think this is it. So I am going to do one more sign, and then I'm going to do cards for the mods, and then I'm going to do the rest when offline, so that way we have a little bit as well. So which sign do I do next? So we have Aries, we have Cancer, Scorpio. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Aries, Taurus, Cancer, or Scorpio. Anybody here online from this 4 signs, guys? Quickly speak up. I think somebody did say, Kathy, you said you're Taurus, so we're going to do Taurus. And so basically we get your energy in there as well. So let me do that. Taurus. Taurus. Aqua has been done, knitting yogi, before I started live. It is actually uploaded, so if you guys are, since this is the last one, I can give you the link. That is actually ahead of everybody else having it. Let me just look it up. Where is the link? Oh my god, how many of the files are open here? So Aquarius is uploaded, but Chris's Capricorn is not yet, because I stopped the streaming because we didn't know what's the problem. But if anybody is interested, here is the Aquarius. And meanwhile, okay, I'm going to do Taurus. Taurus, let's see what is in this month for you. Taurus. Oh, Taurus, you have a jumper, and it's like 4 of Cups. You are kind of like a little bit disconnected of things, or maybe apathy, lack of enthusiasm doing things, but this is kind of like normal. We are just heading slowly toward your birthday, and that's normal. That's kind of like 1 month before a birthday, or a month and a half. It's always like a really, really weird kind of like situation, right? So there's like something to kind of like keep this in mind. So let's see what else we get here for Taurus. We get more jumpers, and again it's 5 of Pentacles as it was there, but it is 6 of Wands, and it is like 2 of Wands. So I think there's like something, somebody's dead to you, or there is closing of some sort. It just like feels there was like a relationship that kind of like doesn't make any sense. Or on the other hand, on a positive side, it can be also seen that something that was not doable is now doable. And that's why you're looking in this kind of like new direction. There's like something that is really, really kind of like happening, or really, really going. So that is really interesting to me, because they're very two different ends of the spectrum, but both of them can actually really, really happen over here. So let's see, Taurus, more details. Interestingly, knitting yogi saying that was my own reading coming into my own. That's lovely. So on the bottom you have like 9 of Swords. Like you feel that everything is coming at you like from all the sides, and that things are kind of like not done properly, not being dealt with properly. That can actually indicate high level of anxiety and high level of worry of some sort, right? So that's kind of like nervous energy, if you really wish, right? And generally you're not a nervous sign, so hence I can just imagine this must irritate you quite a bit, right, as well. And look at that, there's like a 4 of Swords. So it's kind of like very, very quiet energy that I see so far from the jumpers. 4 of Swords is like also the energy of gratitude. Oh my gosh, I escaped this, I slipped this. So this could be a cop stops you, but you don't get the ticket. This could be like, you know, that you kind of like won over somebody, and now like you feel that was really exhausting, and kind of like, let me just relax. And this is coupled with the Devil. Well, the Devil is reversed, so this is a little bit better. Maybe you really feel that you fend off the Devil, like meaning that there are like other people who are kind of like having their paws in their affairs. There is like, I mean, could be up to 3 people kind of like dealing with that. It's really interesting in this particular rendition. There's like this big block, big square. Somebody's really insisting on doing things their way and no other way, kind of like it's possible, right? But this also could mean, because what I also noticed in this particular deck, there's like a lots of kind of like black that could talk about those some dark forces, or you feel, quite frankly, you do feel that somebody's an enemy, or that somebody is, I mean, the Devil is like all of the vices, like stealing, cheating, manipulating, that kind of stuff. So when this reverses, like, I mean, you're getting very clear about what the situation is and what really needs to be kind of like dealt with, right? So that's really, really important, right? And we have 3 of Swords. This can also talk about some kind of relationship is ending, and that relationship, and again, this is that that's God, like rejection is God's protection. Something was going down the path of codependency, like where maybe you have been dependent on somebody, or somebody was overly dependent on you, and then you felt obligation in kind of like supporting this, or the other person did, and now that was not symbiotic relationship anymore. It just like didn't feel that two parties are kind of like benefiting out of it, because look at this, these are swords and these are swords, meaning like there are some words exchanged, and some, and maybe like there's a complete quietness after that. So there is like something that is like a really feeling not right, that something came to an end, but on the other hand it feels almost liberating, that things are kind of like doing things better, right? So that's kind of a thing. This can talk about the divorce. You have the Justice card here, and Justice is reversed. This is one of my karma cards. It could mean that you are thinking about some kind of like fallout of some sort, or you might even be taking legal steps, because this also can talk about the exes as well, and feeling almost like gratitude that you're like done. You almost like you are really done with some kind of situation. You just don't want to look into kind of like things and how they are. What is above you is Four of Pentacles. This is the card always about walls, and there is a 4 here and there is a 4 here. So this specifically applies to Tauruses born in April, that you're going to kind of like feel, you're going to kind of like isolate yourself, I would say, from the outside, and there is like a huge need for self-protection. You're going to feel almost like, you know, I wanted to say miserly, but that's not a proper word. Like kind of like you will not be generous. There's like no energy over here from what I see, because you feel that some energy is coming toward you that you really need to protect. So that's why I feel that on the outside that people will see that energy as like, what the heck are you doing, kind of a thing, right? So let's see how to release it. Well, it's exactly, certain things are needs to be talked about, certain things need to be placed out in the open. There is like this 10 of like wands over here. That can also talk about secrets, it can talk about burdens, it can talk about something is really pressuring you, something is really really hard, right? And kind of like certain things really need to kind of like go in a new direction. The best kind of like advice usually when this kind of comes through is like you're tackling too many things at the same time. They kind of like need to kind of like be segmented out and kind of like do them as they come, right? So which is really really important, right? And then we have 6 of Wands here. It's a victory, so you feel that you have conquered the situation. This is really interesting. These two sixes are linking. So maybe you're falling, maybe you felt like and you're slipping away, but this really card here shows that you kind of like wiggled out, and that maybe your attitude was the right one altogether. Let's see your environment. Your environment kind of like is also not engaging. You get a Ace of Wands, which lovely card here it is. It shows something new is growing out of the stump, but it is reversed. So somebody is like not going in some kind of like refreshment and renewal, right? This is like also to me connecting these 3 cards, because it almost looks like that you're in some kind of arrangement or in some kind of situation. It could be work, it could be love relationship, that something is just, there is an elephant in the room and nobody is mentioning this. Like everybody have their own agenda, everybody wants to deal with these things their way, and nobody's ever moving their standpoint. And you're going to come on the top in this kind of like situation, which does look like they're abandoning their path, or maybe they feel that you don't have room for them. So just keep this in mind, that there are some other people looking at you, that you're not allowing enough space for that interaction, right? So these are hopes and dreams. You have Page of Wands reversed. So there is like possibly a burnout that you are experiencing, or you kind of like reach a point with somebody in some kind of relationship, especially if you're dealing with a fire sign, because it talks about activities, it talks about direction. that really talks about kind of like needing to gather yourself, which actually you kind of like figure out right from the beginning, kind of like you're toning things down, and but you're maybe a little bit too self-oriented this month, but that's going to change. I guess when we shift to Aries, some of you are going to open up to the outside influences, to the other people around, and everything that is really, really happening. So this is kind of like a good energy that is coming through, but it almost looks like that you're going through some kind of drill this entire month, and it could be a lots of things. Could be legal things involved, could be the old history involved, could be that you are breaking somebody's heart or somebody's breaking yours, and that somebody wants to reconnect with you and you don't want, or you want to reconnect and they don't want. So it's almost going to be like a lots of things that you need to turn that stone and see what is under, and then resolve this energy, and then just realize, okay, it is what it is. I just have to deal with this the way it is. And ultimately you're coming back to who you are really known for, being that, you know, very jolly person, and who is kind of like really feeling a comfort and kind of like really kind of like enjoying. Oh, who showed up? You showed up on Taurus. And let me get one more card here for you. Hello, Jamil. And you're getting pay attention to the red flags, and that's exactly the signs are cautioning you. So you're going to be really feeling this entire month that there are like those red flags anywhere you go until the very, very end. Somewhere around the 20th, things are going to start to look up for you, and then also around 23rd, I guess it might come to some kind of like fight, because that's when we have the Mercury squaring the Mars, and we see that square over here. And then when we get to this Libra, then the things are kind of like balancing out. So what's up? You like Tauruses this time around? You do, Shafi? Say hi. Say hi. Say hi to the whole world. Like you are being seen from California to Australia. Okay, guys. So guess what? So let me stop here, and we can do something for my beautiful mods. So I'm not so sure, guys, if this really works, doing live monthlies. I think it might work differently if I, for example, have set like just one sign per day. So that way we can really go in all of that. But that clearly could be one of the possibilities. So let's do now my mods, and I'm going to pick a card for all of you because you have been patient. You see, this is why I don't like doing individual readings, and this can be a little bit too long. So again, Barbie. I don't know why Barbie is. Why are you gray? Why are you gray? Oh, you registered a new thing, Barbie? Oh, that's right, because we had these issues. So she's not even showing up as a moderator. Now you are. I just put it up. So Barbie, you're getting Two of Pentacles. You're juggling things, and kind of like this to me always represents life, or there's like somebody who's juggling in a situation. So simply kind of like look at your steps. Don't look far in the distance. Just look what is ahead immediately in front of you, and that's the best way moving forward. I'm just going to scroll it up over there. Chris, you get a Knight of Wands, and that can talk about seduction. That can talk about one night stand. You can talk meeting somebody who is like sexy and exciting, and then just as quickly as they come in, they're out. That's kind of like the energy that you have. But it's a nice energy. It can be some kind of philosophical conversation, so on and so forth. Lorna, you have Six of Wands. It's again something that's going to show up. It's something that you expected, but you still kind of like were cautious. It could be about promotion. It could be about, you know, proposal on a kind of like a large scale. Could be something like that you just, you know, want to hear some yes of some sort, and it happens. So when it comes reversed, it's not much of a surprise though. It just simply happens, and you go, okay, sure, I knew that would happen. Even though when you think back, you kind of like it was a hesitation of a kind. Then I have a knitting yogi, and you have the same thing. So again, be careful. It's kind of like going to be exciting, but it's going to be quick. It's going to be quick turnaround. Maybe simply this can even talk about watching a movie, and that movie kind of like creates certain new points of references in life and something going on, and that's kind of like important, right? And then I have Kylie. And Kylie, you have a 10 of Cups. So it's almost like you're pushing it forward. You're saying to yourself, no, I have to go through. To me, that's usually represents the person who puts a brave face, puts happy face, even though not everything is working out. So I don't know, Kylie, if you have a touch of depression or simply kind of like you don't want other people to be involved in your life right now, so you're just fending them off. In any case, like, I mean, you're still trying to sort some emotional things out, and you are not allowing anybody's input. You just kind of like want to do it on your own, and that's kind of like important for you. And then I have Creative Guru over here who showed up. Nice to see you. And you have the Hermit Reversed. So for you, even though the advice is to kind of like do this meditation and do this connection, it looks like you kind of like a little bit you're not able to kind of like feel it. You're not going to be feeling spiritual. You're not going to be feeling that you want to internalize things. So keep in mind that you might get worn out, because Hermit always shows up for a reason, and when it's reversed, that means, hey, you are just in this mountain, you're not finding the things, you're getting lost, everything is darkness, this light is not there, and the light is very important. I think you're a Scorpio, right? So that's kind of like more important for you than for most people, so keep that in mind as well. So I think that I did all the mods. Did I? If I haven't, please raise your hand and tell me. So there it is, guys. Thank you so much for sticking through this technical issues and through everything. So I'm going to leave this on. Barbie, I guess I'm going to send you what I have over here with my rocket book, which I also love. And I'm going to finish the rest of them today or tomorrow. I'm going to finish uploading Capricorn, and that's going to be the very first one that will appear, and as soon as I sliced all these signs, I'm going to remove the slice. It's not going to be seen for the others, and I have to figure out also how to remove the chat and kind of like completely learning new skills. So this much from me. So did you do me knitting yogi? I was off for a minute. Did I do her? I thought I did, but here, let's get it. It's like you have a 10 of Cups. That's sure. I thought I did, but anyhow, we'll figure it out. So 10 of Cups is the energy of pulling the family together, kind of like feeling the things are doable, they're workable. Maybe kind of like finding the pleasure in kind of like family life, and kind of like connecting with food, with kind of like getting together, that kind of like sort of things. So just keep this in mind as well. So Barbie, I have sent this, but I don't know, like now I guess you have a new email, so probably you'll be getting this to your old email. Let me know if anything changed. So guys, this is it for today. Well, this was like a nice thing trying. I don't know if this really works, but at least we tried, right? We cannot say how it works without doing that. So next time it's weekly, so I'll be just doing the next one. When we'll skip will be Easter, so I'll be announcing this in advance so we know. So I'll let some music play, and then I'll see you next week. So stay tuned if your sign was not read right now, so stay tuned because it's going to come up and appear very shortly. You know that I love you and I wish you all the best. So until the next time, have a beautiful and wonderful week. And look at that, we have a sunshine here. So let me just do this. Take care, guys. Love you. All the best.